So this behind me is Pablo Escobar's Condé smuggle plane. So Pablo Escobar was smuggling kilos upon kilos of cocaine to the United States of America from Colombia in planes like that. This is Pablo Escobar's helicopter that he was smuggling with. There he is there. There's his little moped.
You know, Pablo used to rob banks.
He robbed banks with that. So he was riding around on that moped, robbing banks.
You know why it has two colors?
Aye.
That was a trick, you know? If you see it in this side, it's only red. If you see it in the other side, it's black. So the witnesses were confused.
That's funny. This place where I am now was the house of Pablo Escobar. So as you probably know, Pablo Escobar is the most famous, most historic, basically biggest drug dealer, drug smuggler, drug trafficker that ever lived. So the reason he was so famous and controversial is because he wasn't just a cartel leader, he was known as a narco-terrorist. So the reason why they called him a narco-terrorist, because obviously he was involved in narcotics, and narcotics is obviously cocaine. So he was selling thousands upon thousands of kilos of pure cocaine from Medellin in Colombia. So as you can see behind me, this is what he used to have fun on. He's just like an ordinary human being. He just likes to have a good time. He likes to live the good life. He wants to live that feeling of luxury. So Pablo Escobar lived here. This was his garden. I'm now in Pablo Escobar's garden. He's got a little bit of a river. He's got trees and that. It's quite a beautiful house. Obviously, this is his house up here. You can see up there is the house of Pablo Escobar. That's his house that he lived in Medellin. So here we are, standing at Pablo Escobar's old house in Medellin, which is now a museum. So obviously Pablo Escobar, he ended up dying. He was killed. He was murdered by a coalition of the DEA, which is the American Drug Enforcement something or other. And he was also killed by the Colombian army and the Colombian police and the CIA as well. So the Americans, the United States government, they were pressuring the very corrupt Colombian government to finally murder Pablo Escobar, because Pablo Escobar was not just a threat because he was a big, influential, multi-billionaire, rich cartel leader that was a criminal boss. That wasn't the only reason the Americans wanted him dead. The Americans wanted Pablo Escobar dead because he was becoming political. He wanted to be the president of Colombia. He wanted to help the poor people, and he wanted to bring down the capitalist system. He was an enemy of capitalism, and he was an enemy of the United States and the United States system of government and the American empire. Pablo Escobar was a threat to the dominance of the United States of America in the whole of South America. Pablo Escobar was only a threat to America because he was becoming political, and that's why they called him a narco-terrorist, because he threatened American domination and control of Colombia. So this plane was used by Pablo Escobar to smuggle pure cocaine from Medellin in Colombia all around Colombia and to other countries as well. So obviously this is the entrance to Pablo Escobar's house. Through here, obviously this is where he would have had people visiting. He would have waited, so the people who were visiting him would have waited in here whilst Pablo Escobar was. Hiya. Yeah? So in here is basically the living room of Pablo Escobar. There we are, Pablo Escobar's house right behind me. That's now a museum that's about Pablo Escobar's life.